Welcome back to Holland 44 by GMT. This is part 3. Just getting into turn 13. So at the sort of 2/3 position, which might be an opportune moment to mention that one of the comments on either the first or second video I did on this one was they thought it was a good game also, but seemed very long in terms of its gameplay compared to other games in the series. That got me thinking a bit. Now, of the ones I've got, this is a 20 turn game. I think Ukraine 43 and Ardennes 44 are something like 21 and 22 game turns. Can't remember which way around it is, but I know they're that number. And I think Stalingrad 42 is 36 turns. But I can't talk for France 40, and I can't remember Normandy 44. I think that may be fairly quick playing. And I suspect Salerno 43, which I don't have. I'm on the fence for that one. Is probably a quicker game with a slightly smaller footprint. But of the ones I've got, the 4 I have, so they're all pretty comparable in game length. So your experience may differ, of course. So we've had an interesting few turns since the last video, and one of the more interesting things was that I thought I better go and check what the actual victory conditions are, which is, probably the sort of thing you should be doing about game turn 1 rather than game turn 8 or 9. So because I think with Arnhem you think, well, I know what you've got to do to win as the Allies. You've got to get over the Lower Rhine, relieve 1st Airborne, get 30 Corps up the road, and job done. It's not quite that simple, because it's based on victory points, and the Allies get victory points for capturing cities. And there's also, importantly, 2 towns on the eastern map edge, which I think you may need to get. And it also explains why the 2 cities that are garrisoned by couple of units which only activate when you get near them, you think, well, I just won't go near them. Of course, if you do that, you can't get those 2 cities. So that explains that particular subtlety, which I hadn't appreciated the first time I played the game. So you've got to get these cities, and you've got to get the 2 towns. You can get an automatic victory if you're scoring 10 VPs and you're over the Lower Rhine with a non-airborne unit. But you've got to have the 10 VPs, and the Germans take VPs off you by killing your units. So I think the sort of 3-step units are 1 each, and anything less than that is half each. So I think currently I've got an airborne unit dead, which is 1 VP. There's one of the single stepper ones which landed, which is dead. That's a half. And in the remnants boxes there are 4 battalions, all of 3. So there must be 4 remnants on the map. So if all those go, that'll be 4 more. So that's 5.5 victory points. And the Allies have got 3 for Eindhoven. They'll probably get the 2 for Nijmegen at some point. Hopefully they'll get the 2 on the eastern edge. So what's that? 7. Yeah. So can't afford. Oh, and of course they currently have 2 or 3 around Arnhem as well, if they can hang on to those. So they will need to get these 2 that are garrisoned by these nominally static units and they must do it pretty efficiently. Oh, there's also a city of Helmond, not to be confused with the other place. It's been in the news a few times. So that's another city which they'll probably also harvest. It's quite tight. So what I've tried to do, I've tried to use 50th Division to guard the west flank, and then elements of that along with 101st Airborne are pushing up towards the city that's on the, am I going to try and pronounce that? Looks like Hertogensbosch. No idea how you say that. So they're going to push towards there. Bit of 11th Armoured and some of 3rd Division are squeezing on the eastern side, and that's sort of formed a gap in the middle, and I've decided to rush 43rd Motorised Division straight up the highway to try and get to Nijmegen as soon as possible. Guards have been involved in fighting around Grave. There's a couple of Panther battalions making a real nuisance of themselves around Gassel, and but they've freed the road up now in beyond Grave. There's no Zox in Grave now, so they're starting to get stuff into towards Nijmegen. Both hexes still held by the Germans. Grabner did a determined defence on one of them, went down gloriously, but managed to hold the hex before some other German reinforcements were rushed in. So it's really quite tense. I thought at one point, oh, this looks quite easy for the Allies, and in fact I think someone else had commented that seems, compared to some other games maybe, they get a slightly easier ride. But today I'm not convinced. I just don't know. That's why I'm still playing it. Very much enjoying it. Would rather play it face to face, but you know, that's just how it is, isn't it? You can't always get together with someone. This will be a full weekend's gaming. So one thing I did do wrong, which I noticed, which I don't think affected anything too much, was that the Polish battalions can only land in clear weather. And I think I may have landed them in cloudy. So yeah, it may have slightly given armour a bit of a boost, but then I suppose the flip side to that is that those units that were landed there I would have landed 3 American units somewhere else, which may have been also useful. So just bear that in mind if you play it. There is a little reminder, and those that have got better eyes than me would have seen that and noticed that you got to wait for the good weather. Okay, I just mentioned as well on Board Game Geek there are a couple of really nice reinforcement to order appearance charts in full colour. So I printed those off, and you can get some laminate pockets, pinch them from work or something, or from your boss, or get your own laminator, which I've got, and yeah, they're very useful. Nice way to sort of see what's coming. You know, it's a good reference. Don't know who put them together, but Ivano Rossa. No, it's got his name on it. Ivano Rossa. So thank you, Ivano. They are very nice. Much appreciated. Let's have a look at the map. One nice thing about recording in the morning is that there's no need for any lights. There's very little glare, which is quite nice. So this is all cleared now, all down here, all down to Eindhoven. You can see that's the last lot of 43rd Motorised, and I think 8th Armoured Brigade, or whatever. I think it's the brigade, 8th Armoured Brigade. They're also joining 43rd. They're on their way down to Nijmegen, and this is so A is now controlled by the Allies, so there's no danger there, and the damaged 50th Division ones are just guiding the flank until the threat from fresh units coming on there goes away. But you can see it's been quite a tough old fight. There's been a constant stream of Germans filtering on, and that's that Hertogensbosch. Not sure what the little S is in front of it. Some Dutch of grammar or something. So but there's a very good unit in there, but that will need to be dug out to get the victory point. Like the one in Teal, easier to dig out, but of course it's much further away and a little bit off the beaten track. So towards the west, they are making progress, but they have taken losses, and there's some Jagdpanzers have arrived in that town. I'll deny that actually halves the armoured attack of any armoured units, given that the anti-tank rating is 4, which is better than anything the Allies have got. And there's quite a few flip units there now, so they're starting to get sort of casualty aware. Moving down towards Grave, you can see the Guards armoured and the 82nd have pretty much secured the area, which allows free flow, barring traffic congestion, around into this area and then through. There's a bridge there which didn't blow, and there's one which the engineers are currently repairing, and that's allowing, these are the vanguard of 43rd Division. But you'll see that it's quite well defended now. There's 88s in one hex and Jagdpanzers in the other hex, and they're blowing the bridge that they're allowed to blow. You're not allowed to blow the other bridge at Nijmegen. And this has been a bit of a tussle as well. I thought the threat had gone away from this entry area, but actually some other units, you can see some German Paras there and some Stugs which came in just as I thought that had been sealed off. They're still struggling to get that completely stabilised. And then in Arnhem itself you can see a greatly shrunk perimeter. It'll be tough to dig out. You don't suffer from, in defence, of being out of supply. It's just the attack that is halved. So you've still got your benefit of being elite in a city hex, trying to hang on. But that's constantly shrinking down. But, you know, that is what it's all about. And quick look at the losses. You can see there in the remnants there are 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5, 6, because there's some first airborne. So there's quite a few guys there who, that's going to give the Germans VPs. So we're going to have to do. Maybe I've been a bit too freewheeling with the attacks, but time will tell. So hopefully that's been interesting, and to be continued.